So in this recording, we are going to work with, at the beginning, with Amtrak ridership data. And the goal is to import the data first, convert it to a proper time series structure. After that, we are going to plot the time series using two different approaches and two different packages and functions, ggplot and autoplot. Before we start, remember that the time series is just a simply data recorded sequentially over the time. Like what we are going to have today is the ridership counts. So before we start, doing everything, I'm going just to make sure that you guys work in a project. So I have a project here. So save everything you do in a form of a project. So this is week 2. You can create a project every week. The second thing, I'm going to go to tools and global options, and I want to make sure that the workspace, I am unchecking the restore our data into workspace at startup. I don't want to retrieve the what was saved in the previous sessions. Also, when I exit, I don't want to save any workspace. So this is helpful because you want to avoid any confusion, especially when you work with others in different projects. So you do not want to have your work been saved. So I'm going just to make sure that these two options are there, okay? And as we said, you can change the appearance if you like to any appearance, then go on. Then I'm going to start with a Core2 document. So I'm going to call it intro to tsibble. I'm going to keep it as HTML first. By the way, if you render the HTML and it shows outside, you can change it from here to view it in Windows or view it in the viewer pane. So there is no big difference between this one and the Windows. I'm using Mac, as you can see. So there's no big difference between this and the Windows. So at the beginning, just let me delete all of this. You can clear it in different way, by the way. Also this one. At the beginning, I'm going to load the packages that I need. Loading packages. So we need many packages. Number one, I would like to have the tidyverse or tsibble first one. Tsibble is my first one. By the way, if you do not have this library or this package, you can go to console and install the package. So install the package, double quotations, tsibble. Click enter, wait until this is installed, then you're done. So I'm not going to do this because it's already there, because it's going to ask me whether you need to redo that or no, restart or no. I'm not going to do this. So install the packages. As we said, installing packages in R occurs once unless you are upgrade to different version. But if you have the same edition or version, then there is no need to install packages. But you have to load the packages anytime you use any function or package inside that package, okay? The other library I would like to use is the tidyverse. Okay, this one, the first one is used for handling the time series, this one, tsibble. It's handling the time series in a tidy, cleaned way, okay? We can speak about this, like function like year, month, year, quarter, it's a year, day, etc. All of these, and as it's tsibble. So this package is the most important one. The second one is the tidyverse. Tidyverse contains many packages. As I said, again, if you do not have tidyverse, you have to install it first, okay? So it contains a lot of packages. So it's a collection of packages, including Dplyr, DPLYR. This is for wrangling, and it contains ggplot2 for visualizations, and both are very important, okay? Also, we need another package, which is the fable, but I'm going to speak about this later. So let's just keep these two now. After that, I'm going to read my dataset. So my dataset is already saved here. So I am working in this directory because I have a project, right? So this is my dataset. It's already there. So it's preferred to work in a project. It's preferred if you work in a project, your files, all of them, they're going to appear here inside that project. If you don't know how to create a project, you just watch the introductory videos, new project from here, new project, okay? So next I'm going to read the files or the dataset file. So reading in this case I have CSV file. Okay, so I'm going to read my data. I'm going to call it Amtrak. I'm going to use small letter. Amtrak data. I'm assigning the value to be read CSV, double quotation, Amtrak dot, the same name that I see here, underscore, right, dot CSV. Or you can put the full path of the file. If you are not working in the, if you don't have the file here, it's saved somewhere else, you can just copy the path of the file. But again, you have to be organized, so that's why we need to do this. So if you look at the workspace, the environment, we can see Amtrak data has appeared. We have 159 observations with 2 variables. And back to the function, I mean, I'm reading the function using the read.sv. In R, there are many ways of doing it, many ways. So I'm loading the file into a data frame. So this is the data frame right now, which is a rectangular table, rows and columns. And the file name is amtrakdata.csv, as I said. And also we can add many other arguments, but they are all optional. I mean, the only mandatory what's so called argument is the first one. I mean, the name of the data set. Okay, you can add header, whether the header is true or false. The default here is true because we do have headers, right? You can add any other arguments. To know more about this, you can use the help read as CSV, or you can use question mark. Okay, after that, because I have this data set, you can look at the class, by the way, class of Amtrak. Now my data set called Amtrak data, I would like to look at the class of the month. So it's character. So it should not be character in our case. We should have a tsibble. We should have something. It's a time series thing. Okay, right? So that's why we have to convert to tsibble, which is the most important part now. Convert your data to tsibble. So to convert that tsibble, I'm going to use pipes now. Pipes is part of deep layer. It's part of the tidyverse. It's a data wrangling technique. Okay, so I'm going to do I'm going to call it Amtrak time series. Okay, so I'm going first to do what? I'm going to pass the data. I mean, okay, Amtrak time series is going to be the same as Amtrak data. It's just the same data set. I'm not going to create a new data set. Then I'm going to use pipes operators. So we have pipe here. Pipe operator. What does pipe operator do? It has another one by the way. I'm using this one. It passes the data from one step to the next step. Okay, so I am going to do what? I'm going to mutate. I'm going to use a function called mutate. Mutate do 2 things. Mutate either creates a new column or transforms an existing one, right? So what I'm going to do, because in Amtrak data we have 2 columns, we have issues with the first one. The first one is month, right? I need to change this one to be in a time series format. I did not change this. I have to change this, by the way, this file. I have to save it. Sorry, I have to save it. So this is week. So this is intro to tsibble. Okay. So I'm going to use a mutate. So mutate does 2 things. Either you create a new column or you override one of the columns, right? So I'm not going to create a new column. It's going to be messy because there's no need to do that. A new monthly column. No, I'm going to change the one that exists already. Okay. So how to change the one that exists already? Because I'm going to change this one. It has a header called month, or the variable is called month. So I'm going to keep month, the same name. Then I'm going to use a function from tsibble, which is called year month. Now, what if your data is in quarters? You use year quarter, days, year day, and so on. We have many variables or many functions we can use. After that, okay, year month, what variable is going to be inside this function? What is the variable that you are going to convert it to the month class? It's the month. It's the same variable, right? So So what's happening now? Let me just repeat. Now I'm a track time series. I am introducing a new variable, a new time series, or a new data set, or a new data frame, whatever you call it. But it's going to be in a time series format. This data, we are going to take the data from this Amtrak data. It's the same data set, but I'm going to make some changes. So I'm going to pass this. I'm going to change the month to be in a year month format. Okay. And this is going to be my index. After that, after you do that, I am going to change this data set to be as tsibble. And this is another important function. As a tsibble, it's going to contain it. Okay. As a tsibble, it converts our tibble. So any data frame is any data frame in R, or let's say the advanced or the modern data frame in R called tibble, T-I-B-B-L-E. But the tibble is not good, is not enough for data for the time series. So what we have to do is to change it to tsibble. Okay, to do that, we have to know the index. We have to know the index. The index, that tsibble contains two arguments at least. One of them is the index. The index, which is mandatory, it's important. It tells the tsibble which column is the time index. We have to know which one is the time. Okay, and so that's why we can say index is equal. So this is always the way that we're gonna do. Index is going to be the month. Now, if we have keys, we can say comma and say the keys. We can add the keys. Look at this, key. But we do not have keys here. We have only two variables. One is the numeric variable, the one that we are studying, and the time series. Sometimes maybe we can have another variable called gender, female and male. Maybe we can have something like education, or maybe age group, right? So all of these other variables, these are going to be key determinants. We can speak about this. We will have another example and talk about this. So as a tsibble month, then we are done here. I mean, now we can run this code. So let me just repeat quickly. We have we use the pipes, then we use a mutate, and we use the year month. If the data is year quarter, we use year quarter. What else? I mean, this is everything now, and let me just run this code. So we got an error because doesn't recognize the pipes. Maybe we forgot to load the packages. So let me load the packages. So after loading the packages, I should be fine now. Now I am running this. When you run this code, you're going to see that we still have our Amtrak data because we already called this one, and we created a new time series data. It's 159 observations and 2 variables. Someone's going to tell me what is the difference. I mean, what's the difference? We can just look at the class. Let's say Amtrak. Let's look at the month. Now we have a year month. It's not as character as before. Now it's defined in a different way, right? Also, you can look at the head, or you can look at the whole thing. Amtrak time series run. So we have a tsibble. Look at this. We have a tsibble 159 times 2, and we have the index here. We have the index every month. We have every month. It's 1 month, right? So it shows that the time series is different. And if you look back here, if you'd like to look at the Amtrak data, you can just compare them. Amtrak data. It's just time series. It's not a time series, sorry. We have 159 times 2. We have month is character. Ridership is another variable, a numeric. Here we have the month is year month. We have tsibble. So we do have a different thing, right? So we do have a different thing. After that, we are going to plot. To do the plot the time series, we have two options. I'm going to go over them quickly. And every day we are going to, or every week, we're going to learn the new techniques and the new things to do in our time series plotting. So, okay, now I'm going to use a ggplot. Is one of the powerful visualization tool in R. So let me write header here, plot with ggplot. Okay, ggplot as a function. So I'm going, okay, ggplot, the basic idea of the ggplot. ggplot works in layers. So they're stacked. So you have to create layers. The base layer and the most important one is the ggplot function as is, ggplot. Okay, so ggplot tells, or we tell the ggplot to do what, which data to use, and how variables map to axes. Very simple. The data, we need to load the data to the ggplot, and which one is x, which one is y. After the first base layer, we have to add another one. So let's say the base layer in this case is Amtrak time series, the first argument. The second argument is going to map, or how the variables will be mapped to the axes. We are using a function called, this is going to be inside the ggplot, AES. Okay, AES is going to contain two things, x-axis and y-axis. I would like to take month to be the x-axis, comma, I would like to be the ridership to be the y-axis. Remember, the names have to match exactly. Use this capital letter, M and R, so they have to match. Any mistake is going to be a problem. Okay, so now we have created the base layer. We know the data, we know the axes. After that, I would like to decide what kind of a plot we have to draw. Is it line, points, bars, or what? Or histogram, or whatever. In this case, we are going to add another layer, which is the geometry layer. Usually, we add plus, then we go next line, okay? There's no meaning of leaving space or no. So after that, I'm going to add a geom line. Look, geom underscore, we have so many options. Geom area, geom bar, I mean, everyone has something, okay? So geom line, I'm going just to add line. That's it. I'm going just to add. It's going to show me. It's going to connect the dots using lines. So show me the data or the time series. And remember, these are the dots. Just show these dots and connect them with lines. Simple, right? After that, I'm going to add maybe the second layer, or the third layer is going to be the labels. So I'm going to add labels, labs. So labs, I'm going to say, okay, the x-axis is going to be the time, and the y-axis is going to be the ridership, right? After you add the third layer, which is the labels, then you can add the scales. I prefer this order, by the way. Okay, the base has to be the base at the beginning. Geom line is going to be, I mean, what type of graph you have. Then you can add labs and scales as you like. So the scales, y limit and x limit. I'm not going to touch the x limit because the x limit is going to be the time series. I'm going to draw the whole time series. I'm not going to crop anything. Okay. So the time I'm going to say 1300, comma. Now the question is going to be, what if you did not include this? That's fine. It's not gonna change it, but you are like cropping your y-axis from 2, because I'm going to show you why. I'm going to avoid some of the numbers, which is the low numbers. So I don't want the time series to look narrow, wide, or small. We can try both of them. The last thing to do is adding the theme. Okay, so there are many themes in R in this package. You can look at them. This is BW. We have classic, we have dark, we have gray, we have minimal. I'm going to choose minimal. That's it. So I'm going to run this. This is my time series. Time, the whole time, ridership from 2. Look, the starting point. I don't want this one to start from 0, the default one. What if you start from 0? What if you did not include this? Let's run this again. It's by default assigning these numbers, and by default creating this width, right? So that's why it's a good idea to create your Y data. So if you'd like to create to start from 1000, then you can tell me, oh, it's starting from 1000. Depends how you would like to see your data. Okay, you don't want to crop or to lose the minimum as well, so you have to know your minimum. How to know your minimum? You can use the summary function to know your data. It's one of the things. To know your max and minimum, you can just use summary if you like. Summary Amtrak data. So this is the summary. We have this is the minimum, this is the maximum. You don't want to be away of these two ranges if you'd like to zoom it to see clearer, or you can just make it larger just to make it clear for you to understand and analyze. So we used in this example, this is the time series. We can analyze Amtrak. We have, as we explained in the lecture, we can see that curvy behavior, right? We do have kind of a trend. We can see it. There's a trend. The trend is curvy. It's not linear, as it's obvious, not linear. Also, if you can look at we have seasonals, and we can explain this later.